Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and today's video, we are taking a trip down memory lane. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm the Midnight Raven. Did you used to sit in front of daytime TV as a child, racing to watch your favorite Saturday cartoons, or before you went to school, you'd spend entire days just watching reruns of your favorite childhood program? Do you show your childhood favorites to your kids today? So we are going to be looking at, I think there's 100 in total, and these are bygone children's entertainment, if you want to call them TV shows and memories. And we're going to see how many I watched. And I would like you to tell me how many you watched. Do you remember your favorite childhood TV program? If it doesn't feature in this list, do consider writing it in the chat so that I can check it out, because obviously living in the UK, our TV was different to you guys living in America or Canada or even the friends I have in Australia. So let's take a look. So first of all, we have Art Attack. Now, do you remember Art Attack? Art Attack was a crazy show. It was Neil Buchanan, and he made some crazy stuff. Milk bottle caps. He could turn a cereal box into something crazy. They also had these like talking heads in it made of like clay. He does some crazy stuff. It was hours of fun. You always wanted to watch it. Next, Live and Kicking was a Saturday morning TV show. I never really watched it, if I'm honest. I wasn't really into Saturday morning TV. Generally, Saturdays were like for going out, because obviously you go to school a week and then you go out at the weekend. So I never really watched Live and Kicking. Next, Fraggle Rock. Jim Henson's Fraggle Rock. If you don't know what Fraggle Rock is, about a bunch of these little creatures that live in Fraggle Rock, and they have the humans above them, kind of like, I suppose you could call it like the borrowers, but with like creatures, and they get into all this trouble, and they're kind of cool but weird. They're kind of like the Muppets but different, and I actually prefer Fraggle Rock to the Muppets, dare I say it. Now, I don't remember this. I don't know if it says in the chat what this was called. The Riddlers, Mossop and Jessop, great theme tune. Is it Tiddler Riddler? I don't know. But these were like two trolls, and they used to have like story time. And I don't remember it. Honestly don't remember it, and there's nothing here that tells me what it was called, but it was a TV show, and unless it is Mossop and Jessop, and I don't know, I didn't really watch that one. Next we have Mopper Top Shop. Now Mopper Top Shop, Mopper Top owned a shop, so you've got Mopper Top here, then he had this little friendly mouse guy, and then you had this, I don't know if it was a monkey or what, but it was really fun. I mean, it wasn't something I would like. Again, it was Jim Henson. He did a lot of childhood programs throughout the years, mainly including puppets like Fraggle Rock, like Mopper Top Shop. Okay, let's have another look. So what have we got now? Oh, who can forget Brum and his little yellow car? Brum was this car that lived in a museum, and then he would escape every day and go on a wild adventure, and then he would come back and nobody would notice he'd disappear. He'd have adventures at fairs, and he'd go swimming, and he does some crazy stuff. And the good old days of proper classic cartoons. Everyone remembers Brum. Oh, Funny Bones. In the dark, dark house, down a dark, dark alley, down a dark, dark street, live the Funny Bones. And obviously the cute Funny Bones dog. They got up to some trials and tribulations. And Funny Bones is still a thing. I work in the works, and we were still selling Funny Bone books to this day. They are really popular. I know the cartoons and that aren't so popular anymore because, you know, you've got CGI and all that now. But it was a really cool cartoon. Ooh, now what is this? I used to watch this at Supergran. Now, I didn't watch Supergran. I don't know much about it or anything. In all honesty, it's not something that I guess I watched. Was it popular? Let me know if you watched Supergran. Next, the Rag Dolls. So Raggy Dolls was before my time. I was born in 84. And I believe Raggy Dolls was an older one. And it was about these rag dolls, and they lived in this bin. And they would climb out of the bin, do lots of stuff, and then again get back into the bin before anybody noticed. And it was quite fun. I've watched a couple of episodes. I never really spent hours watching it. Around the World with Phileas Fogg. So again, it's not a series I watched. I don't know if it was before my time. Obviously, I was an 80s child. But Phileas Fogg had a balloon, and he'd go around the world, and you'd learn about different countries and different cultures and everything. So it was more like an educational one, which you don't get very often nowadays. TV series and children's series that are like educational based. Usually it's just mindless dribble nowadays when it comes to the thing, or it's all CGI and Children's Ward. No, I can't say I ever watched this either. This was about children being in hospital. I don't know why. You know, it's like a cross between like a TV series with children, but it was like children in hospital. You know, they broke their arm, they're having an asthma attack. It didn't really pique my interest. Now, Baba was about an elephant who was king, obviously, and it was about his trials and tribulations of being king in the jungle, and that was actually quite interesting. It wasn't like overly exciting. It was kind of a bland kids show, but you had all the animals that ran the kingdom. He had servants, you know. Next, Jimbo Jet Set. So this was about an airport and Jimbo the Jet. And then you had all his friends like the baggage handler and the lorry and everything. And it was all set around an airport and things like storms. And then they had a helicopter, I think, that turned up eventually. So it was quite fun. It was kind of like Boots, where you had the boots that were going around, or tugboats where it was all about the boats. This time it just happened to be in the air. Nelly the Elephant. Now, this was definitely before my time. I don't remember watching Nelly the Elephant. Obviously, Nelly the Elephant was a pink elephant, and she ran away from the circus, as you can see. And this guy was apparently always trying to get her back to the circus, I believe, but she'd go off on these adventures and stuff like that. But it was before my time. You know, Bangers and Mash, Eggs is Eggs. I had this book and the author signed it for me. Well, that's nice. I've never watched Bangers and Mash. I know it's about two chimps. But apart from that, just by judging by this, I think it was before my time. I don't remember it. Anybody? I don't know what it is. Anyone remember this? I don't remember it. Kids program, let me know. Super Ted and Banana Man. Ooh, Super Ted and Banana Man. And then you have the baddies down here. You have Bones. And then you have this, like, he's like half man, half pirate. And then you get, like, this other guy. And they all try and foil Super Ted and Banana Man every time they try and do something good. So it's like a good versus evil. You know. The Adventures of Spot. So these became a hit. Spot was everywhere at one point. Spot the dog was just a little puppy and he has adventures, and there are so many books written about the adventures of Spot. He was the first, or one of the first books you would read at primary school, second to things like the Magic Key series and stuff like that. If you remember the Magic Key series, they'd have a key, it was magic, they'd jet off to places. Rupert the Bear. So Rupert reminds me of like Winnie the Pooh. It was a character who had a bunch of friends, they'd get up to things and everything. And it kind of just reminded me of Winnie the Pooh, just slightly different. Next. Rainbow Bright was she called? I never watched this, again, before my time. But the artistry and everything, it looks kind of cool. I do like the more style art forms that cartoons used to be in compared to like CGI and all that now. What else have we got? Dinosaurs. Hit the daddy, not the mummy. Do you remember that? Or hit the mummy, not the daddy. Dinosaurs was amazing. This show just propelled into greatness. The last episode, though, if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it, but it was a letdown for the entire series. I know it went full circle from dinosaurs and then to being no dinosaurs, but I think they could have done the ending better. But it was a great series. If you haven't watched Dinosaurs, it is a series you need to watch as an adult or a child. Tots TV, Shakamaji or Shakamaji. So basically, Tots TV were about these three little tots. Tilly, Tom, and Tiny. So Tilly, Tom, and Tiny. And Tilly had a magic bag, and, you know, Shakamaji. And out of this bag would pop something, and then you'd have an entire story around it, kind of like What's in the Magic Bag. It was kind of fun. It wasn't like the most exciting cartoon. It was more educational again. But I quite enjoyed it. Bodger and Badger. So this is Bodger and this is Badger. Now, Bodger and Badger was a TV series where at some point during it, you'd get mashed potato in your face or in your head, because Badger here loved mashed potato. He was always getting into weird, crazy antics, and at some point, mashed potato would feature because, well, everyone loves mashed potato. Wizardora. Now, Wizardora was a really weird program. You had talking vegetables, talking telephones. This is a talking coat hanger. I mean, if you weren't taking some substances while watching this would just seem a bit weird. I just no. The less said about that series, the better. I thought it was terrible. Next, we have The Spooks of Bottle Bay. Now, I've never watched this. This was 60 minutes of spooky fun, adventures from the town of Bottle Bay. Never heard of it, never seen it. Does it look interesting? These characters, I mean, look. If this was directed at kids, were they having nightmares or counseling at the time? This is some spooky stuff. I mean, this guy's face, this one not so much. He's like cutesy, but no, I don't know if I'd show my kids that. Littlest Pet Shop. So Littlest Pet Shop were about these tiny little creatures. And again, it was just another story where they had antics and the toys would come out, you know. It's kind of like Toy Story. It was toys that came out to play and had fun. Toucan Tech. So this was about two toucans and Zippy and Zach. And they had some adventures. Not really something that you like want to repeatedly watch. It wasn't like the most exciting cartoon. Like most things, to try and get the attention span of a child, you really have to try hard. So you've got The Busy World of Richard Scarry, the complete series. Never seen it, never heard of it. Let me know if you have. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Is this a kid series? Do you remember Attack of the Killer Tomatoes? No, I don't, but it looks fun. That actually looks cool. That looks like a series I'd watch. The good days of cartoons. Funhouse. Yay! Pat Sharp in the middle here with the two twins, where you would do challenges where you get messy and wet, and then they'd have the go-kart in at the end, and then you'd run through the fun house, and hours of fun. You know, the two twins were like the best thing of the show if you were a boy. Pat Sharp was this young swaggering man, and the prizes weren't too bad either. Now, Arthur was another series I didn't really watch. You've got Arthur here, his bunny friend. This is his sister and everything, and they get up to things and antics. He was a bit of another dry series in my eyes. Tiny Toon Adventures. So I didn't really watch Tiny Toons either. I know you're going to say like, but Tiny Toons, to me, I was more towards the Animaniacs, the more wackiness, the less Disney-ified programs. This just screamed Disney to me, Tiny Toons. Muppet Babies. So this was a spin-off from The Muppets to the Muppet Babies, basically cashing in on the Muppets, but to a younger audience instead of the films that were more directed to middle-aged teenagers and younger. This was going for like getting them while they're young kind of thing, before they go to preschool, basically. It was all right. It's, you know, Mumphy or Mumphy. Again, this was another series about an elephant. I didn't really watch it, so let me know if you know what this is like. Hurricanes. Now, this was about I don't know, looks like it was about football. It's another thing I didn't watch, mainly because I didn't watch like TV a lot of the time. I wasn't really a TV person. It's probably terrible. Bump the Elephant. Now, I guess this was an elephant again that kept getting into troubles and everything. They had a big thing for elephants appearing in like kids' TV shows. I guess because an elephant is always seen as the more territorial, like scarier animal due to its size. But when in reality, elephants are actually quite placid creatures. Garfield and Friends. Now, I used to watch Garfield quite a lot. It was all right. The Garfield movies, enough said. But Garfield itself with Odie over here, and then he got like this lady he kind of fancied. It was all right. It was nothing like overly exciting. Snorks, that was a weird series. I've only ever like watched one episode, and it's unmemorable, really, for me. Anyway, Bongo, way down deep in the middle of the Congo, lived Bongo. I've never seen it, but I can assume that was a weird thing. Never seen it myself. Look, Milky Way advert. Do you remember this? Lunchville welcomes careful drivers. This Milky Way advert was like high-speed cars doing a drag race. Do you remember this? Oh my God. Umbridge for adult consumption only. Magic Inspector. What on earth is this? I don't know what this was. What was this? Oh my God. I don't even know what this is. The Story Store. The Story Store. I've never watched it. Let me know if you have, what it's like. The Gogs. Oh my God. Now this, if you're uncomfortable with goo, mud, really weird stuff. If you have to be in the right frame of mind to watch Gogs. This came out, I think it was around Christmas, and it's hilarious. You've got Grandpa, you got the baby who's always wandering off, you got the mum who's always bonking people on the head with sticks, you got the 3 idiot boys. This is her husband over here. You got the blind mole. Moles are blind anyway. But if you haven't watched Gogs, don't watch it with young kids around. That's all I can say. The Family Nest. So this was about a Loch Ness monster in a loch. And people kept trying to come there to find the Loch Ness monster. And Nessie would scare them off eventually and everything. So it was like trying to do the Loch Ness monster. Now, Penny Crayon, a Dickens of a mess. Penny Crayon used to draw pictures, I believe, and they used to come alive. I think the idea was it was voiced by Sue Pollard. And Sue Pollard used to appear in Heidi High. I believe she was a character in Heidi High. Heidi Ho. And she voiced the character for Penny Crayon. D'Artagnan and the 3 Muskehounds. All for one and one for all. Muskehounds are always ready. Do you remember that theme tune? I could sing more of it, but we'd get me demonetized. Brilliant little series. If you like pups running around causing trouble and saving maidens in distress. Now this, I cannot remember what it was called. One was called Behave and one was called Be Quiet. I think it was, if they say it over here, Behave and Be Quiet. This was quite funny. I've only seen it a couple of times and I can't really tell you much about it because honestly, I didn't really understand the cartoon itself. The Telebugs. This must be before my time. I don't know. Tugs. Now, Tugs was an entire series about tugboats. So think of it like Jimbo the jet plane. This was planes. This was tugboats. So you got battleships, submarines, little fishing boats, and then you've got an evil boat. Yes, evil tugboat. I know it's riveting stuff as a child. If you haven't watched Tugs, it's a great little thing for your child to watch. Highly recommend Tugs. The Forgotten Toys, Adventures of Annie and Teddy. So this is kind of like, to me, this was kind of like Raggy Dolls, where it's like forgotten toys that people don't play with anymore because, you know, better toys come along. Another thing kind of like Toy Story. Now the Care Bears. The Care Bears are kind of like My Little Pony. They're a teddy. My Little Pony's a pony. They all have different names and everything. You got Sweet Bear and Flower Bear and whatever else. But they are so big. Care Bears are such a big thing. A bit like My Little Pony having bronies, which are men that like ponies. Care Bears were a big thing. You'd pay your arm and a leg to get one of these like new Care Bears that came out. Big thing. The Get Along Gang. Again, this must have been before my time. Honestly, don't remember it, but like I said, I spent most of my childhood being outdoors. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Who does not remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Splinter Cell being the baddie, or Splinter, if you want to call him. Shredder. Is it Splinter was the baddie? Yes, Splinter, I think his name was. And all they used to like was pizza. Tasmania. Now, this was a cool little series. The Tasmanian Devil. He was always trying to be good, but failing miserably. You just felt sorry for him by the end of the series. Kamatamania. You know, it was really kind of cool. You felt sorry for him. He tried so hard. The 3 Adventures with the Raccoons. So these were the raccoons, and then this here is a weird evil guy, and then you got a talking dog because dogs talk to raccoons. I mean, why are you questioning me? Now this was weird. So you have a talking owl. Whatever this was, weird to my eyes. I can't remember what it was called. What was it called? Oh, I don't remember what it was called, but I had this big guy and her. I can't remember what it was called. Someone comment down below if you know what that was called. But that was actually quite, what a bad program. And there you have it. I think that was everything. I think we've been through all of them. But do you remember any of these? Let me just check that I hadn't missed any. I think we went through all 100. It's surprising how quick you go through things, isn't it? We go through all of them. Pinky and the Brain. Do you remember Pinky and the Brain? Ah, Pinky and the Brain. This guy was always trying to be like really sophisticated and everything. And unfortunately, Pinky, oh, he was such a sweetie, but he was constantly ruining things. Wacky Races with Muttley. This was also kind of cool. He kept trying to win the races, but it would always go wrong, and Muttley would explode at some point, and there was always dynamite in it. Always dynamite. Rude Dog and the Dweebs. Can't honestly say I'd ever watch that. And let's do one more because there is 100 in this, and I don't want to take up your time. Fireman Sam, who is now Fireman Sam in CGI, I believe. He also has a helicopter now. Who knew Fireman Sam was so creative with his fire? Fireman Sam was the hero next door. It was really cool. But when they started CGI and everything, like Postman Pat is CGI, Fireman Sam was changed, it kind of put the series down, and a lot of people were put off by it. But oh, Norman Norman was always a person making trouble, either getting stuck in a cave or setting something on fire. Norman was always the person. If there was something going on in that town that was like wrong, Norman was the one that did it. But if you want to see any more of these, I think there's another bunch we can do. Like and subscribe. Give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below. Did your favorite kids TV series feature in here? I'm going to assume not, because there is so many that could have been in this list. There is some more lists like this. If you want to see some more, let me know. Comment down below your favorite TV show, if it didn't appear on here, that was kid inspired. Do you want to help the channel out? PayPal, Super Chat, Super Thanks. Give it a big thumbs up. It's free. And I will see you very soon. Take care and thanks for watching. Bye, guys.